From skiing in communist Czechoslovakia to sipping champagne on Fifth Avenue, Ivana Trump did not just live a life, she performed it. She dodged dictators, married millionaires, and turned heartbreak into handbag lines. If drama were a sport, Ivana would have taken home Olympic gold in stilettos. Her life had more plot twists than a telenovela. Divorces, affairs, lawsuits, and even a count or two. Bold, brash, and never boring, Ivana proved that survival is the ultimate style statement. A girl from behind the Iron Curtain. Born Ivana Zelnikova in 1949 in the small town of Zlin, then part of communist Czechoslovakia, Ivana's early life was a world apart from the Manhattan high society she would later inhabit. From a young age, she demonstrated remarkable athleticism, particularly on the ski slopes. Her passion and skill earned her a spot on the national skiing team, a significant achievement in a country where sports often offered one of the few routes to travel beyond the borders. But skiing was more than just a sport for Ivana. It was her escape route. Desperate to flee the oppressive regime of the Eastern Bloc, she married Austrian skier Alfred Winkelmeyer, not for love, but for the passport. The union was brief and transactional, but it opened the gates to the West. Once settled in Montreal, she quickly ended the marriage and began carving out a new life for herself. Love, luxury, and a public breakdown. Ivana's arrival in New York in the mid-1970s was serendipitous. There, while working as a model, she met Donald Trump. Their courtship was swift and glamorous, culminating in a 1977 wedding that made headlines. Together, they were a power couple. She gave birth to Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric, becoming a socialite, businesswoman, and de facto co-pilot of Trump's empire. But fairy tales are often edited for brevity. Behind the scenes, cracks began to show. The dream unraveled in Aspen in 1989, when Donald's extramarital affair with actress Marla Maples spilled into public view literally. Maples allegedly approached Ivana on a ski slope and said, "I'm Marla, and I love your husband. Do you?" Humiliated, Ivana confronted her husband. His response? He skied away. Their marriage soon collapsed into a bitter, tabloid-fueled divorce. A scandal too far. Their divorce proceedings were not just nasty, they were explosive. In a deposition that surfaced in the 1993 biography Lost Tycoon, The Many Lives of Donald J. Trump, Ivana described a chilling 1989 incident in which Trump allegedly attacked her during a rage over a botched scalp surgery. The details were graphic and disturbing: torn clothes, yanked hair, and an alleged sexual assault. Though Ivana later softened her statement, describing the event as marital relations that were very different, the damage had been done. Trump's lawyers added a note to the book to downplay her claims, but the story lingered, casting a long shadow over the glamorous couple's public image. Their divorce was finalized in 1990, with Ivana walking away with $14 million, multiple properties, and the right to use the Trump surname. But her ex-husband also enforced a gag order, muzzling her ability to speak openly about their time together. Designer dreams and love lost again. Freed from the constraints of her marriage, Ivana launched herself into the world of fashion and media. She became a regular on the Home Shopping Network, marketing her own brand of clothing and jewelry. With her sharp wit and keen business sense, she turned herself into a brand. But her luck with men did not improve. In 1995, she married Italian entrepreneur Riccardo Mazzucchelli. The romance was intense, but short-lived. Jealousy brewed as Ivana's celebrity outshined her husband's ego. During a Vegas trip, when entertainer Wayne Newton introduced her as Ivana Trump, Riccardo stormed off. The marriage fizzled out after just 20 months. "I'm very sad. I cry. I love Riccardo," she told People magazine at the time. "It's tremendously painful." A tragic affair. Next came Count Raffredo Gaetani, a charming and aristocratic Italian playboy. This whirlwind romance swept her off her feet. Friends say she described him as a romantic, protective gentleman, the best lover, she allegedly boasted. Even Donald Trump gave his blessing, sarcastically wishing them well, with the millions Ivana had received in their settlement. But tragedy struck in 2005. Gaetani died in a car accident while driving to visit his mother. Ivana was devastated. The final marriage? Still yearning for companionship, Ivana married again in 2008, this time to Italian actor and model Rossano Rubicondi. More than 20 years her junior and financially dependent on her, friends were skeptical. But Ivana shrugged it off, famously quipping, "I would rather be a babysitter than a nursemaid." Red flags emerged quickly. Just weeks before the wedding, police responded to a domestic dispute. Rubicondi allegedly refused to sign the marriage certificate unless he received a portion of the wedding sponsorship money. Ivana handed over $75,000, and they proceeded with the ceremony. He jetted off to Italy for a reality show. She honeymooned alone. Their marriage dissolved within a year, though the pair reconciled off and on over the next decade, even appearing together on Dancing with the Stars. In 2020, Rubicondi revealed he was gravely ill with stage 4 melanoma. Ivana brought him to New York and cared for him until he passed away in 2021. For all her glitz and glamour, she became exactly what she said she would not, a nursemaid. And she did it with grace, decline, and isolation. After Rubicondi's death, those close to Ivana noticed a distinct change. Once vivacious and impeccably dressed in high heels, she began appearing hunched, walking with a cane. The hip injury she had sustained limited her mobility. She no longer frequented her favorite restaurants as often. Friends worried. She seemed frail, said one. The pandemic only deepened her sense of isolation. She drank more. She spoke less. She smiled rarely. Despite repeated urgings from friends to move out of her multi-story townhouse and into a safer, more accessible home, Ivana refused. A sudden, sad ending. On July 14, 2022, Ivana Trump was found dead at the foot of her staircase by her housekeeper. She was 73. The cause? Blunt force trauma from an accidental fall. It was a tragic irony. The grand staircase, once a symbol of opulence, had become her final descent. Her funeral, held at St. Vincent Ferrer Roman Catholic Church in Manhattan, was attended by her 3 children and Donald Trump. She was laid to rest at Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster, New Jersey, just steps from the first tee. While some speculated the grave's location was chosen for tax advantages, others saw it as yet another peculiar twist in an already extraordinary life. 2 years after her death, photos showed the grave in disrepair, overgrown with weeds and surrounded by uncut grass. A modest headstone marked the spot, though reports suggested plans were underway for a more prominent memorial. Legacy. More than a socialite, Ivana Trump's life wasn't just about divorces and designer dresses. It was about survival, ambition, and relentless reinvention. She raised 3 children who became public figures in their own right. She turned her name into a brand. She built herself, brick by brick, from the ashes of heartbreak and betrayal. Her story, though tinged with tragedy, is ultimately about resilience. It's the story of a woman who escaped oppression, conquered high society, endured public humiliation, and never lost her will to live on her terms, even if it meant dying alone in a house she refused to leave. If you found Ivana Trump's roller coaster life as jaw-dropping as a reality show marathon, don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe for more unbelievable true stories where drama meets destiny and glamour comes with a side of chaos. And drop a comment below. Was Ivana a survivor, a style icon, or the real star of the Trump saga? Let's talk.